Hello everybody and welcome back to my YouTube channel. For those of you who are new here, I'm Sarah Dawson, and for those of you who are returning subscribers, thank you for coming back and being a part of my family. I love you all very much. So today we are going to be doing my November reading recap. In November I read 4 books. They are all fantasy and they are 2 books in 2 separate series. So 4 books, 2 books from one series, 2 books from another. If you follow me on TikTok, you already know what they are. And if you've come here from TikTok because you want to hear my more in-depth analysis, thank you for coming. I love you. And if you haven't followed me on TikTok, go do that. It's fun. It's a vibe. We act out TikToks. We talk about books. It's like a fun little book club. Anyway, that's what today's video is going to be. I am excited to discuss these books with you. I have feelings. I have thoughts. It is currently the 6th of December. That's how long, or 8th. It's the 8th of December. That is how long it's taken me to get over the last book that I read and get my thoughts on it, which I finished on the 31st of December. 31st of November. So 30 days has September, April, June, and November. 30th of November. And I'm really excited to talk to you about it because I have thoughts. This should mostly be spoiler free. If I put anything that is a spoiler in here, I will put a big alarm banner right before I say it so you can skip ahead, but it should for the most part be spoiler free. So let's get on with the video. Okay, so the first book I finished in November was House of Earth and Blood by Sarah J. Maas. This is the first book in the Crescent City series, which is a book about Bryce Quinlan and Hunt Athalar. And it is a high fantasy. I don't really know how to describe it because like I'm not up with all the like book terms, but it's like, to me it felt like modern fantasy. I don't know if there's a term for that, but basically they have like phones and they have TV and all that kind of stuff. It didn't feel like medieval, like, you know what I mean? Hi, it's editing Sarah. Apparently this term is called urban fantasy. So there you go. There was like technology and stuff. This book was really hard for me to get my head around at first because my first dive back into fantasy was ACOTAR, which is very simple. It's very basic fantasy. There's not a lot going on, where like ACOTAR's just fae. There's like a couple little monsters speckled through, but in the start of the book the only like magic-y stuff they talk about is fae. This book has fae. It has shifters of all different kinds, lion shifters, wolf shifters. Like there's all different shifters going on. It's got myrrh. It's got angels, it's got reapers, it's got, I don't know, all this, sorcerers, all this stuff going on, because basically the concept is they live in this city, Crescent City, but they live in this town. Hi, me again. It's called Lunatheon. Lunatheon. I call it Lunatheon. I don't know what everyone else calls it, but that's what the like area where they live is called. Their like continent that they live in is made up of like 4 houses, and the houses hold different elements of the supernatural beings. So fae and all that are like House of Sky. Fae and angels are House of Sky and Breath. Then you've got, you know, like humans and all that other stuff are House of Earth and Blood. The shifters are House of Earth and Blood. And then there's House of Flame and Shadow and my fairy lights. That's okay. And House of Many Waters, which is like the myrrh and the Sobex and all the other like water creatures. This book was great. Once I got my head around what the heck was going on, it was really, really good. I really, really liked it. Bryce and Hunt story gripped me pretty much from the second it started, because I was like, Hunt is a sexy enslaved angel. They're both gone now. Bye fairy lights. I tried to be cute, but you know, that's what I get for trying to be cute. Yeah, so Hunt is a sexy enslaved angel and Bryce is a half fae, half human person. She has this friend. I'm not even going to go into it too much because the start of this book, I was reading it and I was like, oh, I love these characters, I love all of this, and then something very, very dramatic happened that I did not expect to happen. Literally in the first chapter I was like, and then the book took a completely different turn than I thought it was going to take, but in the best way possible. On top of all the characters being amazing and me loving all the characters, this book is a very Sarah J. Maas. It's very Sarah J. Maas, it's very fantasy, whereas like something very dramatic happens at the start and then it's a whole lot of world building, character development, explaining what's going on, and then everything kind of happens at the end. It's very ACOTAR, it's very Throne of Glass, it's very Sarah J Maas. So yeah, I did, all the stuff in the middle was still fun because that's where Hunt and Bryce happens. Very exciting, we love that. There was lots of plot twists that I didn't see coming, and maybe that's just me because I'm ignorant and not paying attention, but I definitely didn't see a lot of stuff coming that happened in this book. And although, don't mind me, my memory card was just full. What I was saying was, although they have, Bryce and Hunt have some spicy moments in this book, actually do not have sex at all in this book. That comes later. It does happen, don't worry. But yeah, it didn't happen at all in this book, which actually shocked me for a Sarah J Maas book. But anyway, it was still really good nonetheless, and I was still very invested. I would give this book a 4 out of 5 stars just because it didn't have the monumental, life-changing impact that my 5-star books have. And I only give them 5 stars if they're monumental and life-changing. And so this was close, but not quite. 4 stars for this one. And in terms of spice, 1 chili pepper, maybe 1.5. So there's that one, House of Earth and Blood. Definitely recommend reading it. Also, if you're an ACOTAR fan, you actually have to read all of them now because the worlds are, Sarah J Maas has confirmed the worlds are coming together. So if you are not a Crescent City fan, if you've DNF'd it, pick it back up, because if you're an ACOTAR fan and you're not a Crescent City fan, you actually have to read these now. So enjoy! Okie dokie. So obviously I told you that I read 2 books from 2 different series. So the second book that I read in November was the second book in the Crescent City series, House of Sky and Breath. I liked this one much better than the first one, to be honest. I don't know if that's a popular opinion or an unpopular opinion, I really don't care. I really liked this one a lot better. I felt like although just as much was happening, and it was just as full on as the first one, she really developed the characters' relationships a lot more in this one than in this one. I feel like this one was very plot heavy. This one is also plot heavy, but it's weaved in a way that's like in between character relationships building. We get a few, not new characters, but new insights onto old characters in this book, as well as some new characters, which is fun. I like the new characters. I really like the stories that are weaving. This one is told pretty much purely from Hunt and Bryce's perspective. There are like, it's third person, but there are other perspectives weaved in, whereas this one we get a lot of perspectives from different characters, which I find interesting because it means we get to see a lot more of the universe and the other areas in which the other characters live. So we get to see a lot more from the wolves and a lot more from the Mer and the angels. We get to see a lot more. I just really liked that. There are a few things in this book that Bryce does that I'm not a huge fan of, that confuse me and don't really line up with the rest of the way that her character has been. She makes some decisions that are selfish that I don't understand, which made me feel very conflicted because I was like, I really like Bryce as a character. I do feel like she's a little bit whiny. I do feel like she's a little bit too obsessed with Danica and what happened to Danica, which is like, okay, I get it, but it's like, I was just very conflicted about it. I was like, I get the curiosity, but you're taking this to a whole nother level. I love the development of Bryce and Rune's relationship in this book. I really liked seeing them just be siblings. Like they had just like little sibling fights. Like at some point he like pinches her and she's like, what the hell? Like, what the hell? Anyway, it was very cute. I really liked watching their relationship. I really liked seeing more about Ethan Holstrom and him coming into the little group. I really liked seeing more about Tharian and the Mer. And yeah, there was a lot going on. There was a lot going on in this book, but it was done well. And we finally get a Bryce and Hunt sex scene in this book. And let's just say it was electric. Let's just step on the elephant in the room. The end. The end of this book. If you've read it, you know what I'm talking about. If you haven't read it, be prepared. If you go to my TikTok, there is a sped up version of me reading the end of this novel. And by golly, was that a roller coaster of emotions. I was laughing, I was crying, I was in shock, I was horrified, I was mesmerized, I was all of the emotions. I was feeling all of the emotions. The turmoil that I was in post reading this book and having no one that I know in real life to talk to about it, because no one had read it, was wild. Like, I was having a wild time. The that happens at the end of this book sent me into another dimension. And if you know, you know. So this book was a big 5-star because it gave me all of the emotions. It gave me everything that I wanted from the book, the first one. Everything that was missing from this one, I feel like I got in this one, which was good. I feel like all the, you know, bits and plot points where I was like, why is that character doing that? Why are they? I don't understand. I got understanding in this one. I got more Hunt and Bryce, which I loved. I got the life-changing ending. And while some stuff happened that makes me very sad and very nervous for the next book, I still really, really liked it. So 5 stars, I would give it a probably 2.5 spice. Yeah, it was amazing. I loved this book. And if you don't know, the next one comes out late January, early February next year. So if you haven't read these and you want to read them, get onto it, because if you finish this in January, by the end of January, you will have the next one and you'll be lucky and you'll get to read it, because I am dying waiting for the next one to come out. Anyway, so these are 2 of the books that I read in November. 2 of the Crescent City series, House of Earth and Blood, House of Sky and Breath. The next one coming out is House of Flame and Shadow. Get on it, read it, live your best life. Go to my TikTok, comment, tell me how you felt about the ending. The next series that I read was one that is probably unsurprising to anyone because it's been everywhere, and I am here to tell you, it is worth the hype. It is worth every bit of the hype that it gets. It's not one of those things where it's like everyone's obsessed with it and it's not worth it. This to me was worth the hype. I'm obsessed. I'm in love. I love the characters. I love the world. I love everything about it. I read Fourth Wing by Rebecca Yarros. The one thing that I have to say about this book is I really don't like the size. Like, I hate it. I hate it being this big. The one thing that I will say though is that both of the 2 books out of this series are the same height, which is nice. But yeah, I don't like the size. Reading it was like holding it. I have to like hold it with 2 hands. Like, it's really difficult to hold with 1 hand because it's like so big. Anyway, that's not about the book though. That's just a aesthetic thing, because I've gone back and I'm reading Wreck the Halls for Christmas, and it's like a nice little book, and I'm like, this shit was monstrous. Anyway, I loved this book. This book was like adult Harry Potter to me. It gave me the dark academia vibes. I don't even know if that's what you would call it, but they're in a school or a college, a war college. We've got Violet Sorrengail, our main character, who is a bad, emotionally intelligent, stands her ground, bad queen. I loved her. She took no from anybody. She knew her boundaries. She set her boundaries and she stuck to them. And when somebody tried to push against those boundaries, she was like, look, that's a you problem. This is what I've said. This is what I've said. You come to me when you're ready, but I'm not having it. And I loved that about her. I loved our shadow daddy, Zayden Ryerson. We love a shadow daddy. Come on. Hunt is also not quite a shadow daddy, but he's a shadow daddy. He has shadow daddy energy. But Zayden is the shadow daddy. My God, this man, holy crap. Anyway, so we've got Violet Sorrengail, our main character. She has basically a lifelong illness, and she's like got weak joints and weak bones and all that kind of stuff, and her mum sends her to the Writers' Quadrant after she trained her whole life to be a scribe. Her mum sends her to the Writers' Quadrant of the War College, which is basically like a death sentence to someone like her who is not trained or isn't, but you know, she's a badass bitch and she works around the system. She knows what she can do, she knows what she can't do, and she makes it work for her, and she gets through it. She gets through it. So We have lots of different characters in this book. We have a best friend, and then we have a best friend that she makes while she's there, and well, so much shit happens, and guess what? There's dragons. Dragons! And everything about this book was amazing. I loved it all. I loved the storyline. I loved the plot twist. I did not love the end. Like, I liked the end. It was a good ending. Don't get me wrong. It wasn't a bad ending. But there was something that happened at the end that almost made this book not worth it. It almost made it not worth it for me. But I'm a very emotional human being, so, you know, some people may not be as sad about it as I am, but from what I've seen on TikTok, everybody's fucking sad about it. But yeah, so this book was amazing. I love Violet, I love Xaden, I love all the characters, I love the world. This was a 5-star read for me. It's worth all the hype. Definitely go and read it. Even if you don't know, even if you're not a fantasy person, this is a simple fantasy book to get into. Like, it's dragons. The magic comes from dragons. They're in a war. They've been in like a 600-year-old war, and it's easy. It's a simple world building to understand because it's very much like just basic. Like, you know what I mean? Like dragons, and the dragons give you magic. That's it. And everything else, everyone else is basically human. So it's not hard to understand. It's not like this where you've got like 6 million different kinds of high fantasy species. It's just the dragon. So if you want to get into fantasy and you want an easy fantasy read and you don't want to read ACOTAR, read this one because it's amazing. It's really good. I really liked it. 5 stars. I'm going to give it I think I gave it a 1.5 to 2 on my TikTok, but I don't remember in Spice. But definitely go and read this book. I really liked it. The ending of this book is insane. I had a feeling, but I didn't know. I had a feeling, but I didn't know. And I definitely... Anyway, read this book. It's amazing. Go ahead. Do yourself a favor. Okay, so the last book that I read in November was Iron Flame by Rebecca Yarros. The second book in the... I keep wanting to call it the Fourth Wing series. It actually does have a name because when I first started reading it, I was like, what is this series name? Like, because, like, you know, you've got Crescent City, you've got ACOTARs like that. You know, ACOTAR. This is called the Empyrean series, which I don't know, I've never heard anyone call it that. But I found out recently that that is what the series is called, and there are set to be 4 books in this series so far from what I've read about everything. My version of this book is so scuffed because I took it everywhere with me to read it, and so it's like all bent and like jagged and gross. But anyway, it was already kind of messed up when I bought it. If you follow me on TikTok, you know that I bought like a dodgy copy for cheaper. But anyway, I was like misprinted, like the page was like too big. Anyway, it doesn't matter. This book was so good. Just as good as the first one, if not better. I really liked it. Obviously, the only thing that I would say about this book is it's like the, you know, quintessential second book where the war is like starting to take place and everything that's going to happen, all the plot twists are starting to take place. So that like fun little school feeling that you get from the first one is like, you lose that a little bit. They still have the school vibe, but you lose it a little bit because now they're going to war. It's like Harry Potter, you know, when they eventually all have to leave Hogwarts because, you know, Voldemort's coming. So that's what this book is so good. You get all the plot points that were missing in this book that you were like, what's going on? I'm confused. You get them answered in this book, and all the shit that went down in this book that you were like, oh no, Violet and Xaden, you get it answered in this book. And you get some redemption arcs for some characters in this book, which I really liked. You get so much more dragons. Tan, however you say it. I say Tan, I don't know how you say it. And Dana, bro, in this book, it's just so good. It's really good. I don't even know what else to say. Like, oh, I do know what else to say. The ending. The ending of this book. Stop leaving me on these huge cliffhangers, because I don't even know when the next book of this is coming out. I need to look it up. We have to wait until December 2024. An entire year. I'm not okay. I don't know when it's set to come out. I'm very upset about it because the end of this book is insane. Again, if you want to go look at my TikTok, you can watch me read the last 60 pages of this book as well, and you can watch me go cry, laugh, cry, laugh, cry, laugh. actually not laugh. There was no laugh. It was just cry. It was cry and then breathe really heavy and then cry. That was it. The end of this book was actually insane, and the worst part is I spoiled it for myself. Do not go searching shit like about this on TikTok until you finish reading it, because boy did I disappoint myself by reading things on TikTok and finding out what happened at the end of this book. It was very, very upsetting to me, but I know, you know, there's 2 more books to come in this series, and I'm having nervousness because a lot of fantasy books will be like, here's your main love interest. Second book, psyched, here's the main love interest. So we currently have 2 books where the love interest is the same. But who knows? I'm scared. Same with this. Sarah J Maas, big fan of being like, here's your main love interest, you sykes. So I'm really scared. But anyway, this book was amazing. It changed my life. It was epic. It was insane. I loved it. So now we currently have 2 books of one series that are 5-star reads for me. So Rebecca Yarros, you really have to keep the energy coming. You have to keep the writing amazing. You have to keep the plotline going and the characters being epic, because you have a lot to live up to now. You got 2 books in a series with 5 stars. Like the first one and the second one, 5-star reads for me. So this one is, I don't know, I can't remember if this one is more or less spicy, but let's just put it in the same spice range as this one. I think this one's a little bit more spicy. Oh no, sorry, I just remembered. This one is way more spicy. Yeah, so if I gave that one a 2, this one's a 3. Like, it's not way more spicy, but there's definitely more spice. I really, really liked it. I love this book. There's less Aiden in this book. And I think I actually gave this a 4 on my TikTok. But I changed my mind. After sitting and thinking about it and breathing on it and reading on it, this is a 5-star as well. So, I think I gave it a 4, and I was like, it's a 4 because there's less Aiden. No. Like, as much as I love him, he's not necessary to this story. Like, he's quintessential to the story, but, you know, there's so much going on in this book that you didn't need him in every chapter to be enjoying it. So, I definitely recommend it. Go read it. You'll have a good time. Well, that's everything from me. We have 4 books in my November reading recap: House of Earth and Blood, House of Sky and Breath, Fourth Wing, and Iron Flame. So we have 4 stars, 5 stars, 5 stars, and 5 stars. So this was a really good reading month for me in terms of like enjoyment. If you follow me on TikTok, you already know my plans for what I'm reading in December. I only plan to read 3 books in December because it's Christmas time, it's New Year's time. So, you know what I mean? We're gonna be busy, but I am very excited to tell you guys that I am having a summer solstice party on the 22nd of December, and I'm going to vlog the whole thing because I'm really excited about it. I have all my outfits, I have everything, it's all arrived, it's very exciting. All my friends know that I'm a weirdo and I want to be a fairy secretly, so yeah. We're gonna have some solstice party, there's gonna be punch, we're gonna watch the sunset, we're gonna write our intentions and throw them into the bonfire. I'm very excited about it. But yeah, so they were the books that I read in November. If you liked this video, don't forget to like and subscribe. If you didn't like this video, again, I'm sure there's lots of other stuff for you to watch on YouTube. Go ahead and watch that. If you wanna see more of me or shorter clips, go follow my TikTok. I'll link it in the bio. The comment, whatever frick. I don't know YouTube, I don't know. And yeah, so yeah, and I will be back next month with my December reading recap, and we will be in 2024. That is very scary. But anyway, I hope you all have an amazing Christmas. I love you all very much, and I look forward to giving you my summer solstice vlog.